What's up, guys? It's your boy Jeremy De La Rosa, aka JDTheCollector. We're here at Average Joe's with Mr. Minty. Today we're gonna do a little shopping today, see what he's feeling, see what he's not. You ready?
Let's do it.
So Steve, just talk about how you got into the hobby.
Yeah, I've been collecting since I was 9.
Wow.
Yeah, I just love cards. You know, it's always something that I got, for birthdays, gifts, and I really never stopped collecting.
So what cards were you collecting back then?
I'm a child of the 90s, so I love, 89's my year, but everything from Griffey Juniors to Jordans to baseball, basketball, football, I loved it all.
So more like the vintage stuff, 90s?
I mean, now I'm considered vintage.
I guess,
a little old.
I know, we're getting there. So what cards are you looking at right now?
Right now, I like to I love to buy back my childhood.
Okay.
Things that
nostalgia
appealed to me as a child, the nostalgia, and I love to get them in high grades.
Oh, wow.
So things I like right now are Shaq Upper Deck 1 rookie card. That's on the top of my list to get right now.
What was that one player you think like you had to have back in the day that you want to get now besides Shaq?
Jordan. Everybody wanted an 86 Jordan.
Oh, wow.
And now everybody wants an 86 Jordan. And about 10 years ago, when I really got back into collecting cards, when I met my wife, that was the first card that I got, and I just scoured, to get it. Back then, there weren't as many card shops. Cards weren't popping, and I'd have to go on Craigslist and buy out lots of people, people selling their old collections from garage sales and things like that. And I would just buy them all until I got all the cards that I used to have.
I know, and then yesterday when I saw you at the LA Proper Show, you had the set, the Beam set, the Beam team.
That's my jam
I know.
right there.
So is that what you like collecting too? Sets, try to complete everything like you were talking about?
I've loved sets, I really do. It's kind of an old school way of collecting. Now it's all about single cards and stuff. But there's something really magical about looking at the whole set, looking at it all together, looking at all the photographs. I really love it. Yeah,
it feels like a journey, right? Mission accomplished when you get all the cards you're looking at for a set. So I think that's pretty cool. And then talking about sets, I know it was the MJ that was your favorite card, but right now you're talking about vintage. So you were looking at something. What were you looking at?
I was looking at 2 cards. One was in 1980, Topps scoring leaders. So it's the Magic Johnson Larry Bird rookie that also has Dr. J.
Wow.
Love that card. I have 2 sets of that, and I'm always looking to buy that card. And then above that is a 1981 Joe Montana rookie. And those are all cards from 90s that are on the Mount Rushmores of cards,
Wow.
So they're goats, and I love looking at those cards.
I know. So is the grade mainly the main thing you're looking at right now, or you just would you rather have raw, or how would you go about it?
That's an awesome question. I'm a card snob, and I want my cards perfect. And listen, I don't have $100,000 to buy a Gem Mint 10, but I love to get as close as possible. I'm really condition sensitive when cards. I always try to find value, so I always look for raw to see if I can get it graded, because there's no better feeling than sending a card in and going, yes, I got a 10 on it. It's an awesome feeling.
Well, yeah, you're Mr. Minty, so let's talk about that in a minute. Is that you actually set people up for grading, right?
Absolutely.
That brings up the next question. How did Mr. Minty come about?
Yeah. Mr. Minty was my pandemic business baby. I collect a lot of cards. I've been grading for over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And during the pandemic, cards were going up, but cards popped during the pandemic. I was selling a lot of cards, and I realized I was kind of running out of inventory. And, while I was in inventory got really expensive as well.
Oh, wow.
Things that I used to do, like I mentioned, going to Craigslist and buying out garages, or going to flea markets and buying cards. Everybody started realizing that their cards were expensive. Then also, there was no place to get supplies. You couldn't get top loaders. You couldn't get plastics.
No.
And this was a real problem. And, I saw this big gap of there was nowhere to get supplies. There were legacy brands like Ultra Pro and some others, and they mainly dealt in plastic, but you couldn't get them. And there wasn't one place to get them, and there wasn't cool branding, and there wasn't anything that identified with the new collector, and there wasn't anything geared towards grading. So, over a course of a week, I came up with a brand ID, the logos, and Mr. Minty was born.
Yeah, and then you have this nickname of the Jason Mark of the hobby.
Yeah.
So it all makes sense now why you came up, how the nickname came about. I didn't know your background was at sneakers and everything.
Totally.
So I know when we first met, you had your first product was the box, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about how you started from the box to where we're at now, and we'll slowly get to the three. The breaks, the prep, and the grade. So let's just talk about the box. This is the progress of where it was started from and where it's at now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really admire Jason Mark, and coming from footwear, I definitely aspired to be Jason Mark for sports cards. I
Makes
found that
sense.
there was like a real need for that type of product, and Jason Mark, has great products, and he also does a lot of kits. So I wanted to do something similar. So this was the OG kit. This was the very first box that I made, and you can see it's super old school and like not well designed, and I kind of got it out rushed. And this kit had a lot of products, a lot of top loaders, magnifiers, things like that. And this is how it all started. I'm happy to let you guys know that it's now officially retired, but this is how it all started. And from this, I was able to talk to great people in the hobby, like Rob from Burbank Sportscards, InvestaCard Eddie.
Oh, wow.
So from coast to coast, I showed the product to people, and it really got a lot of love and a lot of feedback, and they really assured that there was that this was something that was needed in the hobby. Of
course.
So I really valued their opinion, and now the product line is really expanding. I'd love to show you where it's at now.
Yeah, just real quick, I just want to know, you like that, I guess, what is it, color, a Tiffany color. Is there a reason, a color, like a background behind the color you picked?
Yeah.
I hope
I chose the name Mr.Minty, and I didn't think that mint was strong enough, but I really loved like the kind of teal. There's like jerseys that have teal with it, so I thought it was a really strong color that represented Mr.Minty well.
Yeah, I love the color. It reminds me of the Tiffany Dunk color. So
Thank you. That was definitely an influence.
Okay, I could tell. Okay, so we got the three products here. We got break, prep, and grade. So let's just start with break, and just tell us how the idea came about and what comes inside.
Totally. Yeah, so I wanted to provide products that collectors need, that really focus on grading. All grading starts with a raw card. So
Yeah.
Your break kit. So when you're breaking open those boxes and packs, you've got your top loaders, so you got your 35 point, your 130 point for thicker cards, and poly sleeves. Everything that you need for when you're breaking, and a box pack cutter. So everything when you're breaking open those boxes and packs, you have everything that you need right here to protect your cards.
Wow, that's pretty. All you need right there. And then the prep.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, this is the grade. I'm sorry.
So the grade is your next step. It has the magnifying tool, centering tool, submission holders, and poly sleeves. Everything that you need to really examine the cards. Next is the prep kit. The prep kit has everything that you need to prep your cards for grading. There is cleaning spray. There's card polish, microfiber wipe, and penny sleeves. Everything that you really need to get your card looking good and ready for grading.
Wow, and then you want to go back on grade?
Yeah, so this is the grade kit. It has magnifier, centering tool, submission holders, and penny sleeves. And this is really great. It has a 30x magnifier, the same magnification that the grading companies use. Centering tools, and it comes with all the instructions to examine your cards, to identify condition, and to let a collector know what a card's going to get before you send it in, because grading's expensive.
Yeah.
You gotta get it right. You can't spend $100 on grading a card and come back a 5 or a 6,
Yeah.
You want to send 9s and 10s. You want to get those Mr. Minties. So my kits are here to help.
So I saw you I see you at shows all the time, just getting the cards prepped. Is that another service you provide too, is prepping cards as well?
Yeah, it's something that I love to do at shows. It really helps me use the product live in front of collectors, and also help collectors out at shows. I mean, again, grading's $100 a card.
Yeah.
It's really expensive. And a lot of collectors are getting into the hobby. They have a lot of questions. So I'm there to provide a service and really just help collectors, educate them about, what's going on with their cards, why a card would get what it would get, and let them make an educated decision on whether to send it in or not. And I just love it when cool cards come by, or cards that are just going to gem, and it makes me so stoked to let them know this card's going to gem.
Oh, I know. So I see what you're doing right now with everything. So what's the next step moving forward? I know you talked about moving the product to stores. We're at Average Joe's here, and hopefully we could have some product online. But just talk about what's the steps moving forward after that.
Absolutely. A lot of growth this year, a lot of marketing pushes this year, just really going outside of California, going to card shows across the country, really promoting the brand, whether it's a Culture Collision in Atlanta, doing the Mint Collective in Las Vegas, just really expanding the brand outside of Southern California. Southern California is giving me so much love, and I want to be able to share that love with everybody else. And then wholesale as well.
Oh, wow.
Average Joe is going to be my first Southern California wholesale account, and we're just going to expand from there.
Yeah, and I love that you say expanding out of Southern California. Recently, I've just been going to shows outside of Southern California, and you could just see how much help it is expanding outside of the state, in the city where you're from. You're able to meet different people in different cities, and you network. So let's talk about networking, how important it is for you and moving forward.
I love going to shows, meeting new people, because at the heart of going to these shows, it's about collecting and trading and having fun with like-minded people that love the same product that you do, and that's the coolest part.
Yeah, so what's the biggest challenges that you face in the beginning?
At the beginning, I had the vision in my head, but it takes time and money to really get the vision to where you need to be. Plus you had the pandemic, so there weren't a lot of card shows going on, there weren't a lot of events to kind of get it out there, so I really relied on social and networking with people and to really get the brand out there. And plus there were like challenges with COVID, with importing goods, so there was, got super expensive to fly goods in. Goods were stuck at the port, so there were all these like crazy challenges to launch a brand, but we got through it, and we did well enough to expand the product line, and now it's a really cohesive brand, and it's going really well.
So if you had to give advice to somebody starting off, what would be the biggest advice you could give somebody?
Identify your PC. Identify what you like, and identify like 5 or 10 cards that you just love, and that's what you want to collect. That if like your whole entire house burned down and a tornado took all your cards, if you had those 5 or 10 cards, you'd still be super happy. Or if the market collapsed, you had those 5 or 10 cards and you'd still be happy. And then everything else just is tradable or collateral to get what you want. Because as collectors, it's so easy to go ooh and ah and see the next cool thing, but if you keep your focus on what you really want, it's good.
What about if somebody wanted to start a brand like you, like not to say your brand, but just a new business, a side business, what would be the biggest tip you could give somebody?
Be authentic and know your core customer, because it's really important that if you have a business that you know your customer and you're providing that customer value. It's not about you making money, it's about what value you can provide to your customers.
There you guys have it. Mr. Minty came through, told some awesome stories. Make sure you guys follow Mr. Minty at
Mr.Minty_supply
at Instagram. Make sure you guys, your website, right?
Mr.Minty.com.
Make sure you guys check that out. Thank you to Average Joe's for letting us film here, and that's a wrap.